Each year, 34,598 people die from suicide. This picture behind me is of a man who was a part of this number. 3 years ago, he took his own life. Suicide is among the leading causes of death in the U.S. according to the CDC. This can be caused by a series of things. Suicide is related to mental and physical issues, can be common in more than one age group, and there are many ways that we can work towards prevention. We'll first explore the mental and physical issues. Let's start with mental. Depression and anxiety. Depression is one of the most common signs of suicidal thoughts in someone. This doesn't mean that they are suicidal, but it is definitely something that should be watched. Depression can often occur with medical conditions, bullying, or from being alone. This doesn't mean that depression can't be caused by other things, because it most definitely can. The next mental issue we'll look at is anxiety. Anxiety can go hand in hand with depression. Most of those who suffer from anxiety suffer from depression as well. The majority of those who have attempted suicide have shown signs of depression or anxiety. Back to the picture. This man suffered from depression. He went through a divorce, and this most likely contributed to his depression. Next, from a physical standpoint, bullying and substance abuse. Bullied victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to attempt suicide than non-victims, according to studies by Yale University. Suicide among younger individuals is usually linked to some type of bullying. This includes physical or verbal bullying, or cyberbullying. Next, substance abuse. Substance abuse is a big instigator for suicide. About 20% of suicides have been linked to some type of alcohol problem. Back to the man in the picture. He had a severe alcohol problem that led to his depression and eventual suicide. The number one thing to remember about alcohol is that it is a depressant and not a stimulant. Suicide can be common in more than one age group. How common? Let's look at old age first. Suicide rates are highest in old age. This can be related to medical issues, the loss of a loved one, or anything else. According to mentalhealthamerica.net, about 20 to 40% of suicides are in ages 60 and over. After this age, the completed suicide rate is at least 3 times higher than average. Over age 80, the rate is 6 times higher. The older a person gets, the more that suicide is thought about. Now, we'll look at young age. Suicide is the third biggest leading cause of death in individuals between the ages 10 to 24, according to the CDC. This can tie back into bullying. Another cause of this could be the pressure to be perfect from social media. Each year, approximately 149,000 youth between those same ages receive medical care for self-inflicted injuries. After examining the age groups affected by suicide, we can now work towards prevention. One of the main parts of working towards prevention is communication. This is one of the best ways to help someone who may be showing signs of depression or suicide. While the person may not want to communicate, you can still talk to them, and effort is always better than nothing. If the person is willing to communicate, listening is key. If it doesn't include listening, you could send the person the message that you don't care. Another part of prevention is cognitive and behavioral therapy. A suicidal person may not always agree to therapy, but this is where communication can come back in. Cognitive therapy includes talking about other ways to think about themselves and the world around them. Behavioral therapy includes methods that help their problem solving, social skills, and anything that may help reduce depression or anxiety. Prevention may not always work, but it can impact the way a person thinks. We now see that suicide can be caused by mental and physical issues, can happen in any age group, but more commonly in young and old age, and there are many ways to work towards prevention. It is clear to see that we need more effective ways to lower suicide from being one of the biggest leading causes of death in the U.S. How can you help? Those of you wondering, this was my dad.